You go bankrupt. And there's a penalty for bankruptcy. Your credit sucks. You're very difficult to get a loan. Very, very difficult for people to trust you again. You have to earn that trust back. And even then, it's always going to be a stain on your record.
It's absolutely, he needs money. You think he's going broke? Once again, come on. Fighters like that always go broke.
Yeah, he's stupid. He's an idiot. He loves the fame and he loves the money. So ultimately, if you're just that money hungry and that fame hungry, you're going to just do whatever. You don't care what it is.
Joe Rogan slammed Jake Paul, saying lawsuits and fixed fight accusations have permanently tarnished his boxing record. Critics note that Paul's flashy resume now looks hollow, built on selective opponents and hype rather than real legitimacy. In combat sports, credibility is everything, and once fans doubt authenticity, wins lose meaning. That stain outlasts any paycheck.
Because there's a price that you pay that is not worth it. Yeah. It's not worth it.
The hype over fake fight accusations erupted after Jake Paul's bout with Anthony Joshua, as fans spotted unusual patterns during the event. Many questioned how Paul lasted longer than Francis Ngannou despite the huge gap in experience and power. What was billed as a blockbuster clash between a social media star and a former unified heavyweight champion sparked rampant speculation, from leaked training footage to odd betting activity and commentators claiming the spectacle prioritized showbiz over sport.
We're a week away from Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua. What have we got here?
As I look at it, for the fans, it put boxing still on the map because it keeps boxing relevant. Having exhibition fights like this, different celebrities and different things like that. I look at it as a fun thing for fans and stuff like that. I don't really take it seriously, because we in the business of boxing. That right there is just exhibition stuff. But I'm hearing they say it's a real fight. But yeah, it's a real fight because both guys are getting in a fight. I'm still the one that be thinking certain things are scripted as well too. So, but we'll see. I always say may the best man win, and main thing about it, may those guys go in there and have a hell of a lot of fun. You know what I'm saying?
Many commentators called the matchup absurd, citing the huge gap in experience, size, and pedigree between Paul and Joshua. A YouTuber with a 12-1 record facing a former two-time world heavyweight champion with elite competition seemed lopsided. Critics viewed Paul as a cash-grab opponent rather than a legitimate challenge, fueling speculation that the event prioritized spectacle over sport.
Jake Paul, fake Paul I call him, against Anthony Joshua. Massive unit, two-time world champ, still got a big punch. I think he's mentally fragile at world level if he goes against the big guns because of the knockout, especially the Dubois knockout when he got fucking splattered. You know what I mean? In round 5, and he got hurt early on and then got done, and he's not been in the ring for 13 months.
Yeah.
But can you see a world in which Jake Paul is competitive in this fight?
No.
How do you see the fight going if AJ takes it serious?
It'll be over.
Simon Jordan added fuel to the controversy, claiming Anthony Joshua could have knocked out Jake Paul at any moment, but allegedly chose not to. Jordan suggested the fight was stretched to meet Netflix's expectations rather than boxing's, with Joshua's power, experience, and timing far beyond Paul's. A quick finish, he argued, would have undermined the spectacle for the streaming audience. While offering no proof, his comments echoed fan suspicions that when big money and platforms like Netflix are involved, entertainment can overshadow true competition, leaving viewers questioning the fight's authenticity.
Look at it. Jake Paul posted on Twitter after the fight, jaw broken, heart and balls intact. That's a good thing. Time to rest, recover, and return to cruiserweight. I mean, he's coming out of it as if, well, yeah, I got battered in the end, but boy.
That's what he will do. I mean, it depends what you think this was. I mean, I never felt it was anything other than entertainment. I'm not surprised that Anthony Joshua could have knocked Jake Paul out anytime he wanted to. He didn't want to.
So why didn't he?
Because, well, when you're on a platform like Netflix that turns one-part episodes into a 6-part series, why would you think that part of their entertainment model is to have a 30-second fight? Why? You watch a Netflix series, you can watch it and you can go, well, I get the gist of it. Why have you got to turn it into 10 episodes? because I'm dying with boredom after episode.
Are you telling me that Netflix probably emphasised, listen, guys, take this as long as you can?
Anthony Joshua didn't step, irrespective. I sat to all these guys, whether it be Spencer or Paul Smith, talking about the fact that Jake Paul couldn't run, didn't have the footwork to be able to move around the ring and get away from Anthony Joshua.
After the fight, Ryan Garcia weighed in on social media with a blunt, attention-grabbing reaction. While he acknowledged Paul's effort, Garcia compared him to Gervonta Davis, tweeting, "I think Gervonta would have done him worse," implying Davis could have hit Paul harder or ended the fight more decisively than Joshua. Many experts echoed Garcia, arguing this isn't elite boxing. Criticism continues, with observers claiming the Joshua versus Paul bout should never have happened.
I mean, look, fair play to Jake Paul. He has a lot of guts, and the fact that he wasn't carried out of this fight on a stretcher, certainly I guess you can say is a positive. But what did I think about this? What did I think about Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul? Look, it felt like Anthony Joshua carried him. It felt like Jake Paul brought in as much of a negative anti-style as possible, circling away, constantly holding Joshua, constantly falling to the ground. Again, while you're certainly going to give respect for the YouTube star turned fighter for having the guts to put on this type of show and to stand in there for as long as he did until a clean right hand in the corner when Paul was absolutely exhausted, dropped him and ended the fight. This is not elite boxing. And we knew that coming in. But if these fights are going to be sanctioned as official fights, like the Mike Tyson fight from last year, like this one,
Adding to the controversy, Oscar De La Hoya commented on Jake Paul's fight with Mike Tyson, suggesting it was fixed. He claimed Paul paid Tyson to protect his record and noted analysts observed Tyson holding back, not showing the intensity expected in a pro bout. De La Hoya implied this was part of a recurring pattern in Paul's career.
About how staged this fight was. I do believe it was scripted. And I believe that Tyson was certainly held back. Look, I'm a fighter and I can see it. It goes on the record and it was sanctioned. So Jake Paul paid to get the W on his record? For what? For your own personal satisfaction? I keep telling you, if you want to be a real fighter, like you say you want to be, what are you doing?
Though Tyson denied the fight was scripted, many fans were disappointed, questioning if it should count on his official record. For a boxer of his caliber, his subdued performance raised doubts about the bout's legitimacy.
Who Kid, recently broke some news about how he spoke to one of the Paul brothers and that they had an agreement that no one was supposed to get severely injured and that the fight had to last at least through the 6th round. As I was watching the fight, I'm like, damn, it looked like Mike came out a little hot, and I saw him do this one thing where he kept biting his gloves. I know there was a big age discrepancy here, right? Jake Paul being 27, Mike Tyson being 58, of course. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, is he biting onto his glove to hold back? Because it looked like he had something there. Even some of the jabs Mike threw, I'm like, he stopped his punch. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist here, but thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if Mike completely exerted himself or he just got really tired.
I don't know about it being rigged or not, but I do feel bad for people who really are invested in the sport.
You want to know why I also think it might be a bit rigged? When the fight ended, Jake Paul kept calling out other fighters and he kept referencing, you guys need me, you guys need me. And I'm realizing he's meaning his money. So if boxers and people in the industry know that, hey, if we go get with Jake Paul, we'll make X amount, I wouldn't take it off the table.
During the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight, critics pointed out unusual rules seemingly favoring Paul. Notably, a clause reportedly penalized Tyson financially for an early knockout, raising concerns that contractual stipulations, rather than competition, may have influenced the bout's outcome.
Y'all already know I'm mad about this fight. I really wasn't even going to talk about it because I already felt like it was a setup. But when Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, it really just confirmed and solidified everything. So, Trick Daddy Dollars posted this on Instagram, and I'm going to read it to social media. So, it says the rules for the Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul fight are designed to favor Jake Paul. These include, the rules are extremely favorable to Jake Paul. The contract will incentivize Mike Tyson to lose and give Jake Paul an opportunity to choose himself as a winner. The first stipulation in the contract will punish Tyson for knocking out Jake because he is paid on a sliding scale per round. Sorry. If Tyson knocks Jake out in the first round, he would receive no money. If he knocks him out in the second round, he would only make a small amount of cash. For Tyson to make the most money he needs to survive all 8 rounds, which means avoiding knocking Jake Paul out. If the fight goes to a split decision, it favors Jake Paul because the judges have to be approved by Jake Paul. I'm gonna let y'all read that. I knew it was a setup. Because you know what? Mike Tyson had a lot of open air opportunity to smash Jake Paul. And he didn't do it. And I'm just like...
David Hay offered further insight, suggesting Paul may underestimate the challenge of facing a true elite fighter. Hay noted Paul could be relying on past, allegedly scripted bouts to think he can handle Joshua easily. However, Joshua reportedly refused any scripted arrangements, insisting on a genuine contest. Hay emphasized that this reality presents a major challenge for Paul, now facing a highly skilled opponent who won't accommodate him for money or publicity.
Is Anthony Joshua going to go into this fight with Jake Paul with the same mindset after seeing him fight on a beat on points a 58-year-old Mike Tyson? My opinion is no. I think he feels zero fear in this fight. He's in a unique situation where he's going into a boxing ring with someone he doesn't believe deserves to be there. So is he going to be paying the price in training? Is he going to be getting those early nights? Is he going to be pushing himself in sparring to get the very best out of himself, like he did for the Ngannou fight? Unknown. I don't know. I don't think he will. I don't think he'll want to risk having any hard sparring just in case he gets injured. Because if he gets injured, he misses this $75 million payday against someone he doesn't believe will be good enough to be a legitimate sparring partner for him. You know what I mean? So it's a very unusual situation, very, very unusual. And, you know, obviously all the advantages are in Anthony Joshua's favor, except this one, except the mindset factor. Jake Paul has nothing to lose. He's got everything to gain. Him reaching round 3, round 4 is a win, in my opinion, and in many people's opinion. If Anthony Joshua doesn't detonate his right hand or a jab off of Jake Paul in the first 30 seconds, minute, and put him in problems, you know, some people would feel that he's underachieved or he let boxing down. You know, people don't consider Jake Paul a real boxer because he's got such a big profile on social media and he's got that background that he's come from. But he's dedicated himself to the sport for the last 5-6 years now.
Fighting analyst Chael Sonnen delivers a blunt assessment of Jake Paul's fights, leaving no room for sugarcoating. He notes that compared to Anthony Joshua, Paul shows glaring gaps in skill, power, and ring awareness. Despite circulating training clips, Paul still appears more like a student than a contender. Sonnen emphasizes that the footage highlights his inexperience, showing someone still learning fundamentals rather than preparing to face a seasoned former heavyweight champion.
Watch Jake Paul. Because people do this all the time. They'll be real dicks about it. Some guy will look great on the mitts. Oh, well, the mitts doesn't count. It's like, well, it kind of does count. If I have you working out on the mitts from a year ago, and I have a new tape today, and I can juxtapose those, I actually can see some timing. I actually can see some speed. I actually can see some footwork. I can see some power, and I can compare it. Now, Jake is in a wildly difficult spot. Boxing is unlike, by example, track and field. Track and field is all about personal records. You do not need to be faster than the guy standing next to you. Right? Now, you can win and you can get trophies on that, but it's not actually your goal that your coach is working on you with. You just today want to be faster, throw further, jump higher than a previous version of yourself. Boxing doesn't work that way. It is straight. It doesn't matter how good you are. It is 100% comparative to how good is this guy. I understand that. But as human beings, we have to start somewhere. And I think there are many things that are going to be wins for Jake. I do not subscribe to the idea. Now, he does. He will not agree with me. But an older version of himself, as he looks back, will see that Chael makes a very fair point. There's a number of things that are going to be wins or not for Jake. Now, Joshua's got one. Crush that man. Get your hand raised. That's it. Well, I don't see it like that for Jake. I don't see it like that. And I know you guys don't either. I know you don't, because so many people that are predicting this fight won't even happen. Or that are predicting if this fight happens, these guys are going to be nice to each other. What does this word exhibition mean? Right? There's all these things where you're trying to take away, and you're not necessarily wrong. If Jake shows up for this fight, that's a win.
Despite the controversies, real money poured in on the Paul versus Joshua fight, with fans, casual bettors, and even notable personalities wagering on outcomes, adding fuel to debates over whether the bout was a legitimate sporting contest or mere spectacle. After Jake Paul was knocked out, Joe Rogan gave unexpected credit, highlighting that surviving 6 full rounds against a proven heavyweight like Joshua was genuinely impressive. He reminded critics of the massive gap in experience, power, and ring IQ between a YouTuber-turned-boxer and a former world champion. While the knockout was inevitable, Rogan stressed that Paul's ability to last showcased toughness, discipline, and real conditioning, even if it didn't close the skill gap.
Look, that guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He has had no real professional opponents other than Tommy Fury that were legitimate world-class boxers.
I don't even remember what happened in the Tommy Fury
He lost
fight.
a close decision, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight, though. He's a good boxer. If he wasn't a YouTuber, people would be way more impressed with him.
Yeah.
The problem is he was like a famous kid, and then no one took him seriously.
Yeah.
But
and then he started too with like more spectacle-ish fights. People were like, "Oh, this is you." He fought, Nate Robinson, like a basketball player.
But the thing is, he knocked Nate Robinson
He knocked him
dead.
the fuck out.
And
yeah.
it's the way he did it that I was trying to tell people. I'm like, no. That was skillful. So like there's like boxing matches where you see two guys just slugging it out. One guy lands a punch, and yeah, he landed a good punch. What Jake did is he slid back and landed a punch.
Yeah.
It's like the athleticism along with the intelligence, the technique. I'm like, he's not even doing it that long. And he's also hyper competitive, even though he's wealthy.
Yeah.
Like you would assume that wealth would take away your drive for
But
competition.
it hasn't, yeah.
He's also nuts, right? Just the fact that he's willing to fight the 2-time heavyweight champion, former Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
A guy who's gigantic in his prime, built like a Greek god.
Yeah.
And you're going to stand, and he's a one-punch killer. And you're going to stand in front of that guy. And he avoided shots till the 6th round. He just started getting tired.
Yeah, his movement in that fight was crazy.
It was very good.
Yeah.
It was very good.
He was really keeping him moving around the whole ring, and then
you can't afford to get tired.
You can't get
That's
tired.
the thing is, like, he gets tired in a lot of his fights in the later rounds. You should really sort that out. Because if he had a much bigger gas tank, like if he was training with like some of these elite world-class strength and conditioning coaches and just worked on his cardio, he'd be beating way more guys.
You think so?
Yeah, 100%.
Rogan acknowledged Paul's toughness, but warned that taking brutal shots, like the one that fractured his jaw in 2 places, can cause long-term harm and isn't worth repeating. He stressed that the physical and mental toll of combat sports often outweighs fame and money, urging Paul to prioritize his health. Rogan highlighted risks like brain damage and depression, suggesting he consider early retirement rather than risking further injury.
Bro, he got hit with a breaks his jaw in 2 places. The thing is, I would hope that he recognizes is right now he's doing great and he's only, whatever he is, 28. There's a price that you pay that is not worth it. And that price is a severe brain imbalance that's going to lead you to addiction. That was real damage. The inside of your head, there's a lot of damage going on in there too. If he doesn't have your respect after that fight, that guy did great for someone who's been boxing for like less than a decade. He's got nothing but respect from me.
Do you think Jake Paul's fights are scripted, or is it just hype? Share your thoughts in the comments.